Well, hopefully that worked. Howdy everyone. Wow, the chat box, as you can see, is going. Welcome everyone. Did you like the little countdown thing? It's to forego any kind of glitchy, stuttery start that we seem to always get. But let's have a look. As you can see by that, you've been going and I've missed it. So lucky enough, I've got something on the left-hand side here, which is slightly bigger. So if I just do that, make it a little bit easier for you guys to read your own. So let's have a look. CK's in the house. Hope we have good news regarding the Srixon ZX i4 irons. We'll get to that in a sec. Spike's in the house. Hi folks, part made, just chilling today. Why not? You're busy enough as normal. Iro, hello. Eric, hope you are well. Chris Cooper, gentlemen. Hello, Chris. Hope you're good. Niels made the countdown screen work. Yay! I did, just. Nice. I'm assuming that's for the countdown. Kevin's in the house. Howdy. Hello, Kev. Hope you're good. Andy, fancy, smancy. Not really. Something very, very quickly made up because I really wanted to get that in there. Alex says, does the timer move into negative time if J doesn't start on the 0-0? Lucky enough for me, it doesn't. And so we've got Carl saying, sorry I'm late. I got caught up organising my golf bag. Well, how does one do it? Do you have the drivers at the top and the putter at the top and it works all the way down? Well, we can get into that on if we wish to. We have Neil saying, well, one thing is getting the countdown working, another thing is calculating the correct time. That's a very good point. Ira says, don't forget to like the QI video for the core model. Definitely. Steve's in the house. Hi all. Hello Steve, hope you're good. Howdy from the Heartland host. Yes, so I know Chris as the Heartland host from Discord. And again, guys, if you haven't been on Discord, you don't know about Discord, YouTube is one thing where we can have a nice chat about certain things, but it is only a very one-way thing. So if you go, wrong hand, if you go up to here, there's your little Discord link. And also the link is in the description below. And also Andy has just popped a link there for you to type or click on at least, and then you can go to Discord. It is much more interactive. We can have much more in-depth conversations. And there is such thing as a lounge voice chat. And believe it or not, I don't think you'll struggle to believe, my mouth moves a lot faster than my fingers do. So sometimes I can explain things by voice so much quicker than I can do by the old fingers. Especially when I'm busy. The great thing about Discord, I can do stuff, I can hit data sets and stuff whilst being on the Discord, which is quite handy. But Neil says 29 online from the start, good way to get people ready. Well, yeah, not a bad idea. I don't think it is, to see how well it goes. Carl says, all of the clocks are 5 minutes and 10 seconds fast. Why is that? That's an interesting one. Half in the bag golfer, what a name. Like that. Howdy from Arkansas, USA. We have Ryan's in the house. Hello, mate. Hope you well. Evening Nut Gang. Yep. Anthony, hello. Hope you are good. Happy Monday, peanut gallery. Carl says, Jay, I've just learned on Discord that you have to draw up multiple diagrams of your bag in order to get it just right. There you go. Adrian's in the house. Hello, mate. Hope you're doing good. Spikes will say, my FedEx guy came and hit over the weekend. The results are on Discord. Lost a screen and a blue toe. He hit places I didn't know you could hit a golf ball and get a triple. Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we don't like that. No, we don't. Golf Addict, hello. Hope you are good. Hello, everyone else. Anthony says, Carl, what else am I to do when I'm between meetings? Well, that's a good point. Why not? I need to make this bigger, reading anything else, but there you go. I need to make that bigger. Who's nerd shaming? Eero says, Jay, tell us what we can buy Muras on voice chat. Right, so there's a question whether I go get some 201s. Andy put a link to a AliExpress. The Temu video did really well, and it showed that a certain population want to see it. So there is a little bit of a question mark whether I should go get the 201s and whether it would be even worth it because of the fact that the old one had a lot of and still does. I think it's not far off 200,000 views now, where people want to know how good or bad a knockoff set of effective P790s are, because P790s are extremely popular. And so it was a good video. When it comes to the 201s, it's got a much, much smaller audience. I'm not quite sure whether it would be worth it or not. Again, let us know what you think on that one. We will be talking about the Srixon side of things. Definitely will be talking about Srixon side of things. And I also want to get you guys on the chat now. All the people on the chat that have been inputting, give us your opinion. Obviously, Andy, you can't do this unless you really want to put something forward. So the idea we have going forward of changing the live stream, the Monday live stream, into, can't we just trust Andy? You say, yeah, but he's got to send them. So how would you like the live stream to not just be me, but it be more like a podcasty type thing, where you have my Golf Spy do a no putts given, don't they, where they have a screen split as such, and they will have the chats. They will go through the itinerary for the day, or what they're going to be talking about for however long, and they will go through it. So the consensus, the idea, the concept at present is a podcast type thing. So it will be on the screen. Here we go, get it on the right side, it's always reversed. So here's me, here's Andy, for instance, and if anyone else wants to join in, you are more than welcome. We'll have to work out the technical side of it, but we could probably do it. And then on the middle side, this little select section here where we've got the kind of just going into the chat, will be the chat, and on the farthest side where you can't see will be the topics of conversation. And then we'll chat through all these different things. Now, obviously, Andy is a much more of a nerd. He is. He's much more nerdy than me. So he can go into the finite detail of stuff if he wants to on a given certain topic, or we can just discuss all different things. Now, if anyone else wants to join in, then well, just let us know either via Discord. So you can pop us on Discord if you want, and then we can work a way of trying to get multiple streams. Not sure how it will work, being honest. Lots of tech things, generally speaking, struggle, especially my end. But I'm pretty certain we can make it work. I think it would be a good idea for a podcast point of view, so you don't just listen to me prattle on. You might be absolutely happy with listening to me prattle on for however long. However, it's a good idea to at least have a go at doing something slightly different and adding a little bit extra, a little bit something different into the mix. Whole idea, guys, is to make sure you get the best information possible, and I need a space between com and I. There you go. I don't always get it right. I'm a human being. Everyone has a different opinion, and so sometimes having a different opinion, and obviously it's quite good to have difference of opinion when it comes to it. Go drill down into whatever subject matter, whatever topic we're talking about. That's an idea. But you can have a little chat in here, see if you like the concept or not. Carl says, where's the thumbs up button for the 201 knockoff review? Anthony says, A+ for live streams, sometimes having fellow nuts on. So, yeah, I mean, not everyone wants to have their face on. I mean, obviously, you can go audio only. And audio only is fine. It's just very difficult sometimes, itchy snozzer. It's very difficult sometimes to see when to interject and to run the conversation in a way where you don't get people talking over themselves and stuff. So generally speaking, when people want to input, that you'll see their body language change, and of course in a two-way conversation it's quite easy to work that out, not necessarily when you're just literally talking effectively over the phone, but doable, absolutely doable. I wouldn't expect any massive star to just wherever they are in the world on the phone. That'll be absolutely fine. Eero says, Jay, the Mizuno ball looks to have dimples more like Bridgestone balls. They are flatter than the Titleist Callaway and TaylorMade type. Did you notice anything different with the new ball? Haven't even tested it yet. Being honest, haven't even tested it. So there's two reasons why I haven't tested it. One, haven't received it yet. That's the biggest one. But I haven't really pushed that much for it on the basis of there needs to be an understanding first of all, because obviously all the data that we've collected is based on the old ball, and so we need to make sure that the data for the new and data for the old is comparable. Now, if it is just composition changes and stuff like that, as in how it feels, and absolutely fine. We're talking aerodynamic properties point of view, where the dimple pattern has changed, has changed its depth. The aerodynamic properties of the golf ball, absolutely fine. If they've done something with the core and the outer shells and the mantle and how everything works together as to change its launch and its spin properties, that may be slightly different. Because if that is the case, then I may not be able to use them for all the heat maps, or at least, if this is going to go on for the next 2 years or however 3 years for this ball, the Mizuno Pro S and X, then what I will have to unfortunately do, I will have to go through a lot of testing to find out how the new ball is different, and as a percentage of difference, does it spin percentage more, 6% more, 3% more, does it launch X amount? And that means then I would have to then, if I was going to continue using the new ball forward to keep everything apples for apples testing, I would either have to re-hit every single iron on the database, and according to that down there, it's 50 plus, what it is, it's nearly 60 now, and do all that, which is not happening. It's not happening. Or but what I have to do is more likely is find out the difference between the new and the old, how it launches, etc., and then put in an adjustment on the advanced data and the radar and the self-fit tool to add or take away a certain amount of whatever it be based on all the new current things. So at least everything is like for like. But I mean, that is down the road. That is a conversation that we would have going forward. But I haven't changed it yet, and I'm not necessarily in too much of a hurry to change it. I'll be honest on that one, because it's, yep. Right, what we got? I get on these things where I just carry on explaining, I completely lose the fact that the chat's just going, which is good. Andy says, I hate the idea. I'm assuming that means that Andy's not in for the podcast. Iris says, is Jay going to make you be on video, Andy? Andy's crying already because he's going to have to either have a shave or he's going to have to wear really nice things. And no, just come along, be what you want, it doesn't matter. I don't necessarily care what people say. You can't be on YouTube at all and care in any way what people say, because of all of the 100 people that will say something nice, there's always X amount of people that will choose to say something completely opposite. So you have to be water off a duck's back. Not everyone is like that, so hence why a lot of the time when people turn around and say, oh, you should go get a 22 handicapper to hit the shots and stuff. Well, do you know what? Not every golfer wants to be on camera. Not every golfer wants to see themselves being character assassinated on camera. There is a very big possibility, and it happens a lot, that it's happened more since the bigger I've got. Because generally speaking, when you go in as a normal coach, people come in, just see a coach, and they'll just do the normal thing. And when I say a normal thing, they'll be up or down depending on the day. They'll have their normal good days, bad days, in between days. But when you go to somewhere where you're now getting a little bit nervous, that you really want to start, you want to perform well, you want to look as though you've got a half decent game in front of someone that you've either watched for a while or anything else like that, there's a bit more of an expectation, and then it creeps in the nerves, and unfortunately, commonly hit it really badly. And on camera, yeah, so not a lot of people want to be on camera, being honest. I don't really care, because I've got used to it by now, and I put myself in that situation, so I can't really say anything about that. Right, Carl says, if I were to join the AGM podcast, everyone would find out how much better looking my words are than my face. So Carl's basically saying he's got a face for radio. Neil says, Eero, the dimple pattern would not have any effect in the sim. It has the effect on the flight through the air. Hence my conversation about the aerodynamic properties. But Neil's is absolutely right, because of the fact that I use GC Quad. GC4, GC Quad does not measure flight. Absolutely true. It measures launch parameters, and then it uses its algorithm based on a Pro V1 to dictate its flight. Anthony says, Carl, you could set up the camera in front of your golf bag. Yes. So we're not actually talking to Carl, we're literally just talking to his golf bag. Because so Carl picks his golf bag up and puts it right in front of his face. It would look as though his golf bag is talking to the camera. His irons are certainly better looking. Oh, here we go. We're starting already. 63. Not certain what that means. Oh, 63. I don't. I'm assuming that means some form of concurrent viewers or something or other. I must admit, I'm not. Yep. No. Don't know. So we are going to be talking about Srixon though. We are. And we will get onto that one once I've just literally just spoke about all of the things that I've got to speak about, because if not, I will lose track of all these wonderful comments that keep on streaming down. Neil's, so no, that's not Neil. Yeah, Neil does say a ball change should probably be between equipment seasons anyway. Yes, definitely. And have time to work out how that ball differs to the rest. Why is it saying that one's offline? Oh, I don't know. Doesn't matter. See, things keep going wrong. As long as everyone can watch me, that's the main thing. Carl says, Andy, yes, they are way better looking. Anthony says, Carl can live stream the bag on a yeah, organisation? Definitely could do. Anthony says, and then his sock drawer. Yep. And we can see if they're the same as claimed. I don't know what I've been claiming. I'm going to stick out this one completely. I'm just staying out of everything. I don't get involved in these kind of conversations. They can have them between themselves. Ryan says, if Andy dripped out in, oh yeah, draped out, as that's in Mizzy gear also. No, he's not. He'll be draped in any form of whatever the heck he wants to wear. No judgment at my end whatsoever. Andy last name revealed as Mizuno. He owns the company. He wishes. Andy Muir, actually. Anthony Lopez. Middle name Forgiveness. Can we get Andy a Muir apparel sponsorship? That'd be good. Ryan says, I heard Andy's keyboard doesn't have a control button as he's always in control. Oh my word. Tumbleweed. Right, Cologne Golf reached out to me to wear their apparel. A ball changes between first tee and the second shot of the first tee. Right, that's enough. Okay, cool. Right. Let's just go on to there because I think we're going to be missing out a load. No doubt. There we go. Refreshed it. That was a weird one. Took a little while to refresh. Right, so Srixon. This would have been a very good one to have as Andy as the first one on here, because obviously Andy is a little bit more nerdy than me, and so he can answer questions much more nerdy than me. I'll probably just give you this fairly simple-ish answer within reason. So, everyone's been waiting on the Srixon ZX i4, ZX i5 and ZX i7. I'll tell you what, I'll go get them if I can. Which one's on the floor over here? That's probably a bad example. I popped it down there when that's the 4. It is the 4. Okay, cool. I was doing a data set. Much on that one in a little bit. I was doing a data set earlier on today. And when I say a data set, I mean it for the 3rd time. Yes, that is 3 times I have hit this golf club. Twice, I think, for the ZX5. I don't know, maybe once, I'm not quite sure. But it's this one here. This is the ZX4. Slightly different to that of the ZX4, ZXi4, ZX4, you can't yet change the name. It is different in its profile. So that is a much, much slimmer profile than what the current ZX4 is. Can I get the ZX4? Have I got it out already? May have it out already. Where is it? No, I'll tell you what, I know where it is. There you go, Spike. It's in your spike. It's in the contraption, the spike's contraption, loft and lie measurer. There you go. That's the. There you go. Anyone wants the loft and lie measurer? Speak to Spike, Frugal Fixer. Go online. You can buy them online. There we go. Just want to get it out of the thingy so we can have a little. There you go. Right. Ooh. This is the ZX4. Where's the other one? Here it is. This is very scientific. I don't know if I'll be able to get the angles correct. Hang on. So this one here, just want to say, this one, yeah, there's a new one. Can you visually see that? Can you visually see how much bigger the old one is compared to the new? Yeah? It is bigger, thicker, chunkier, all of the above than the new one. The new one is smaller. That's an aesthetic difference, that's a dimensions difference. Although it potentially has other changes as well. We go into, so the whole idea is I will go into a little bit about what I've found so far to explain why the videos aren't out already. And it's got to do with the data sets. So the data sets I create, obviously I do the 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, and then I also do the forgiveness data sets. So all the heat maps side of things. And as time's gone on, excuse me, YouTube Winnie Pops. As time's gone on, it went from me hitting lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of shots to the heat map side of things, where actually I didn't need to hit as many shots, which was good. And now we're changing things a little bit more to hit even more shots, because we're adding different things in, and it needs more shots to calculate certain things, especially on the roll and bulge side of things. We've got changes to the website, www.askgolfnut.com, for the people who didn't know. We're adding more things to the website soon, some nice features, and a conversation arose from the ZX4 heat maps. So basically I completed the data set that I needed, a nice large data set for the ZXi4. And everyone knew how good the ZX4 iron was, yeah. Everyone knew that. And that was, even so, that was legacy data. So what we call legacy data. So before the heat maps arose, I did all the information you saw on camera, and then I hit shots off of camera to get all the forgiveness stuff off, where I basically measured it against, we had those, the pictures up on the screen where this is the middle shot, this is how much efficiency you gain from it, blah, blah, blah. And then you go to hit them off the toe, hit off the heel, hit it off low, and see how much it drops. And I discussed that. That was the old school way of doing it. And so those captures that you see or saw in previous videos were then used as legacy data, along with the stuff that I was hitting on camera, to build a, I'll say a rudimentary, wrong word, to build a heat map. Now, there was a, thanks Niels, thanks for the spike. There was a certain question mark I had early doors of the heat map, was, okay, if we're now hitting more shots to create the heat map data, and we're going to be looking at the legacy stuff where there's relatively small amount of data capture, how accurate is it? Because I want, before I put my name to something, because effectively it is, I need to ensure that it works, not just works off the new, because new data set, when I say new data set, I mean the new way of collecting, as in more data. I need to know that the old works as well. And so we took the information, say from the ZX4, which is a number of captures, like 5, 6 captures, whatever it is, a center capture, heel capture, low capture, toe capture, and a couple of other ones in and around. And then we got the heat maps, did the same thing for the hot metal, I think it was, can't remember, Hot Metal Pro, can't remember, it doesn't matter. But for the ZX4, and then afterward, I re-hit a data set with the old golf club, where I hit another 12 or 15 shots all around the face, added to the data set and see if the heat map changed. And it didn't. So we did that test with that one. We did the test with the Wilson, the original Wilson CB, Staff CB, and we did it with the Hot Metal Pro as well. And so different golf clubs, different performance when it comes to, say, its launch factor, its spin rates, its forgiveness levels of different toe, heel, and low. Different golf clubs completely. We ran the data sets from legacy to full on new, and the heat maps don't change. So brilliant. We are in a situation where the legacy data is fine, it's no problem, and it is it's quite crazy how good the maths, because it's English, how good the maths is, even with a relatively small data set, to get a very, very good understanding of how well this golf club works. And so anyway, we got the new ZXi 4, and instantly the heat map was not brilliant. We'll call it not brilliant. There are golf clubs which were worse than that, absolutely, but it wasn't brilliant. And alarm bells obviously started to go, considering how good the how good the ZX4, change the names, is, and then coming up with a heat map which is distinctly worse on the ZXi, the new one, 4. So Andy and I started looking at the data, really going through the data. I've hit 3 data sets with it now to take into account, and this makes no difference whatsoever, but this is just the human coming up with weird and wonderful ways that it must be different, knowing full well that it's not. So the data set was poor. When I say the data set was poor, the heat map was poor from the data set. We looked through, there are some anomalies. There were certain ones there for some reason, whether it had been, when I say out of quite a big data set, the odd one here or there that was a potential launch monitor misread, because it happens, it does. But the great thing with the heat map tech is it shows up straight away, like a sore thumb, boom, glowing red, or glowing bright green, something outside the realms of everything else is very easily spotted. So then we started looking at the consistency. So you look at the center hit. So effectively the center is the benchmark. How good is the golf club from the middle of the bat? You hit it out the middle, it gives you a certain smash with loft adjusted, face to path adjusted, all these different things adjusted. And then you measure the same thing as certainly you start deviating per millimeter away from the middle and you get your heat map. But the middle was inconsistent. What I mean by inconsistent is I was getting hitting it effectively within millimeters of each other, delivering the same loft, same angle attack down, same face to path, no difference like that, and getting different numbers. 1.39 efficiency, then a 1.37. Well, 0.02 is a lot to lose for the exact same hit. And I haven't had this kind of weirdness. If you guys can remember the Cali iron, the Cali X iron, which is still over there somewhere, had the same problem. But obviously this is way before heat maps, etc. And so I've not seen this kind of level of weirdness out of center strikes since the Cali. So on the Cali side of things, I put it down to a manufacturing defect, or the fact that because I was effectively given seconds from a media side of things, I couldn't guarantee what the previous owner, the previous user, had done to those irons. So that was always a massive, look, this is what I found. However, I can't say that it's because of this. I don't know. All I'm doing is reporting what I've seen. These ones, they're Srixon. They're a premium manufacturer. They know how to make golf clubs. So I'm more likely down the, okay, well, they're brand new, they're wrappers, opened out the wrappers. What's going on with this iron? And so I've done the data set 3 times to see if there is continuity. 3 different data sets, completely different golf balls. So we're not using the same golf ball. We're swapping out the golf ball just in case that's a parameter. There's a problem there. Swapping out the dots. Yeah, changing the dot placements. Say placements, it's not placements, but basically just using more dots. Take them off, put new dots on, just in case the quad is reading something weird. Obviously turn the quad off and reboot it. So just in case there's something weird, even though there wasn't, but even though there's weird, say with the quad, when it was booting up, it didn't load properly, or any kind of weird technical thing that people would be thinking about, to do the test again. And I did the data set again. And for the 3rd time, I've done it again. And I've still got, within reason, a very similar data set, and there is weird inconsistencies with the head. I have reached out to Srixon. First thing this morning, I said to Srixon, look, effectively, I need to chat to someone in R&D, in product development. I need to talk to someone about the very interesting results that I'm finding. And I need me to say this to when I talk to him, but I want to know, is it the design of the head? And again, if Andy was here, we had this conversation just a little bit earlier, but the launch factor could also be a production run dud. Very, 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 very possibly. I don't know. Let's just very, very quickly go on there. Wobin Yu says, hi, would you recommend JPX 925 Forge to a 4 handicap 25 years old player? 90 mile an hour, 7.9 swing speed, trying to move from 923 high launch. Wobin Yu, great name. I could not say the whole idea, because one, handicap is an extremely poor measure of how or what kind of equipment any golfer should use. Handicap is a measure of score, nothing to do with equipment, because a golfer can be, say, that's a 20 handicap, let's say a normal-ish high handicap, 20-something handicap, but they can be 20-something high handicap on the basis of many different things. Some people drive really well, some people putt really well, some people have a really good short game, some people have really good approach play, and other people, all the different things have a different variation of good and bad. And so their handicap is made up of completely different things. And so anything to do with handicap-based iron choice, for example, or driver choice, anything else like that, completely wrong. If one thing I could get rid of, and it winds me up every single time, I'm not saying that you wind me up with your comment, it's not, but effectively it frustrates me that this is peddled constantly. And the reason why it's constantly peddled and this blooming myth will not disappear is because it's constantly peddled by retail outlets and it's constantly peddled by the manufacturers. And why? It justifies the amount of golf clubs that... Oh, that's very, very kind. YTD. Thank you very kindly. Very much appreciate that. Hang on a second. Let's give that a heart, an AGN heart. Thank you very much. That's very, very, very kind of you. Thank you. I lost my track now. Yeah, so handicap. So people need different things. People need forgiveness from different parts of the golf club, because different people have different patterns of their strike. Different people need different launch. Different people need different spin characteristics. Different people need different face speed characteristics depending on their swing speed, etc. So different people require different things depending on how they swing, how they deliver the golf club, and how fast they swing and where they hit it. Absolutely nothing to do with their handicap. So my suggestion would be, would be to find out, as a 4 handicap, what is your strike pattern, as your miss strike pattern. Everyone likes to say out the middle. Yes, where's your miss? And then you need a golf club that's going to be more forgiving. When we say more forgiving, we mean more or easier to retain ball speed from miss hits from certain locations. If you're a toe striker, let's say, then the whole idea of AskGolfNut.com was to give the members, not YouTube members, but you can be a YouTube member, have it, but everything's moving over to the website, is giving the website members the access to that website to enable them to make the right decisions. Because we've got self-fit tools on there, you can put your swing dynamics and basically see what the flights of different golf clubs will be. No different to that of the heat map, so you can actually see what point the golf club works or doesn't work for your particular strike miss. It's vitally important. It saves yourself money, saves yourself being sold basically golf clubs that you don't need. Buy once well, not buy twice or 3 times and get mis-sold. So I would suggest, yeah, what launch conditions do you need? What spin conditions do you need? If you swing at 90 miles an hour, you could either have really high launch or low launch, high spin or low spin. Different golf clubs will launch and spin the golf ball differently. And of course, then you have your forgiveness side of things. All of these can be seen on AskGolfNut.com. Right. 30° 7 iron, strong loft is my concern. It is, yes, to a certain extent. So 925 Forge is fairly forgiving for a player's distance iron, like very forgiving for a player's distance iron. But you can weaken the lofts off a little bit should you wish, as long as you keep the right gap in. Remember, 90 miles an hour swing speed, you are going to need to control your loft gaps, as in have a nominally small-ish loft gaps. If not, you're going to have massive gaps in between. So as long as you make sure the gapping is okay with the loft gaps, then you should be absolutely fine. Anthony says, man, if it's a production run problem, imagine how many folks could be impacted, like a car recall. Right, a lot of the time, let's sort of give you a little bit of an insight into the media side of things. So a lot of the time, the media sample stuff, all the media stuff that you get are not factory seconds, it's not that, but they are the first production run. Make sure everything's okay, make sure everything's working okay, blah, 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 blah. They'll make X amount of golf clubs from a production run point of view. The first ones will always be the media side of things because the sacrificial side of it. They're not going to be played by the average golfer. They're not going to be played by people which are going to give like a really bad review if it's really poor, because obviously it's a poor manufacturer. The whole idea of YouTube reviews, generally speaking, guys, and you'll know this by watching YouTube content, is that they'll hit it 5 times, 6 times on a golf course where there's so many other variables on a golf course that make a good shot or a bad shot. And so they don't necessarily notice in any way if the golf club isn't performing as it should do. Of course, doing the stuff that this channel does, any issue at all with the golf club is it just shines straight away, just highlights, woohoo, my middle's not working properly. And so we don't know what's going on. We don't know whether the golf club is not it's not manufactured to its design correctly. We don't know if the foam or whatever's inside has become dislodged, or the tungsten inside hasn't. I don't know necessarily what the problem is. My question would be, do I need another golf club? Do I need another 7-iron? Send out another 7-iron from a custom retail run, and see if I get the same information. If I do, then it's just the design of the golf club, and that's exactly what it is. Because at the moment, if you run the heat maps from the slowest center reading, excuse me, YouTube when it pops. If you run the heat map from this slowest center reading, the heat map looks pretty darn good. It does. If you use the center readings, the hot ones, that's what I mean by the inconsistency. It means it sometimes sees them as it does this, and then suddenly it comes off the face really quick, and then it goes like this and comes off the face really quick. And we're getting that inconsistency. So depending on which one you say would be center, and this is where the new metric potentially is going to come in. Again, this has got to be perfected. It's a first concept, and this whole discussion, what blossomed this whole idea, was what people see as flyers, and seeing from a centrometric point of view is it's like center speed consistency. And that is another idea. Now, since all of the heat map data is now in the process of being moved over into a master file, if we change one, we can change the lot. Where previously every single club had its own file. If you wanted to change something, you have to open up every single file. Now that's fine while you've got 5 or 10 on the database. When you've got 50 to 60 irons and you want to make a change, that's a little bit more work. So this is the thing at the moment with the ZX4, I don't know. The ZX5 seems to be relatively unaffected and no different to the ZX7. There is a pattern forming of the new golf clubs, which I don't know if it influences my thoughts on the 4 or not, but we will see. I need to contact, I have contact, I need to speak with someone from Srixon at length to discuss what the new design is doing, if it's a much more of a, like a distance inspired, try and make the face as fast as possible, because at the moment, the toe and heel is not necessarily a massive problem. It's low on the face. Low on the face forgiveness at the moment is causing the problem, and we don't know why. Now, there are some thoughts, whether it's the fact that because it's got a very, very good launch factor, we're seeing the center of gravity on the new ZXi4 seemingly lower than that of the ZX4 Mark II. Got that wrong around, did I? No, yes I did, got it wrong around. That's what I mean. Call them different things. But with a higher launch, CG is lower, and that means again, it's guessing, is the sole of the golf club flexing properly? And then if it's not flexing properly, is then not given the rebound, the trampoline effect, and then we're losing. I don't know. We need to have a chat. I need to have a chat with Srixon, find out. But that's what's going on with Srixon at the moment. It is not fair for me to release a video saying anything to do with how good, bad, or indifferent a golf club is based on any form of conjecture, any form of what like that. My whole job as such, as to review equipment, is to give you the fairest review possible, and that needs to be also fairest to the manufacturers and fairest to the actual data. Now, if something is not coming out the way we need it, or would like it, or would expect, or anything else, you have to give the opportunity for the manufacturers to say, look, this is not working. Do you know why? Is it because they could just turn around and go, yeah, Jay, we know we have reduced the effective forgiveness of this golf club relative to the old one because we are going down a different design route, and we're planning on doing this, and we're trying to do this, and to do that we've got to go down this route first. Absolutely fine. Then I would happily say that within a review, the fact that the ZX i4 is a much more distance orientated, fast face speed, low spin, high launch, that kind of idea for the golfer who wants ultimate distance. ZX i4, there you go, got it idea. No problem whatsoever. If they say something different, but the whole idea is it has to be honest, and it has to be open, and it has to be fair to everybody. And so this is the reason why they haven't been reviewed yet, because of the data is a little bit interesting. So if I don't get anything back from them by, well, what I could probably do anyway, I will look to start filming the ZX7 tomorrow, and then the 5, and then the 4. That's probably the plan. I would normally do the 4, 5, and 7, because I like doing things my OCD loves doing like that. I haven't got OCD, but I have got a little bit, but you know, kind of idea, yeah. But I'll probably do 7, 5, and 4, just to give, and it might be, if they're going to send me another 7 iron to obviously test, then potentially, yeah, the 4 might be a little while, but we'll see. Right, Josh says, got the new P79 in Dummett Gold, mid 115 in stiff. Gutted I didn't get fit as find them so hard to load. Had to go back to my T200s in AMT black. What irons are you gaming at the moment? What irons am I gaming at the moment? Well, I've got my 241s, although they're not shiny, and so I keep on going back to my MP20s. I do like my MP20s because they are shiny. And there's not much difference between the 241s really and the MP20s. It's just, I would say if someone was to chrome the 241s, they would look slightly better than the MP20, because the MP20 had quite a harsh bit off the heel. It didn't return. The 221s had a slightly more of a return. The 241s look lovely, but they're not chrome. But there you go. Right, so Neil says metal temperature could be too cold, hot, and create a completely different golf club. That is a very, very interesting point. Yes, you have a very interesting point there. Aero UK, is a Sol and Srixon that good? Well, it's still got the V-Sol, as you can see by the V. But it's distinctly smaller than that of the other one. I mean, it's, hang on. There you go. You can, anyone can see that. That's, on a camera, it's terrible. Generally speaking, seeing something on a camera, especially because it's out of focus, because it's focused on my face, if you can see it, considerable. One bin, thank you very much for your explanations. You're welcome, absolutely. I try as best I possibly can do. Adrian, was the issue only with X4s or all of them, 5s and 7s too? So the 5 and the 7, hang on a minute, I'll go get the 5 and the 7. I put them back in my little area. So I've got a bag. At the moment, I'm using the Vice bag. as my I really need to get those videos done bag. So there's the, hang on, let's see if I can get it in here like that. Right, so there we go. So there is the 2 golf clubs. That's the 7 there. I have to look, yeah. And of course there's the 5. When you look at the 5, you can't help but think, because the chrome bits, I can't really see the chrome. It does look like a smaller Cleveland Zipcore XL one. It looks a smaller version of that. There you go. And of course the 7 looks a smaller version of that again. It looks, 7's a really nice golf club, no different to the 5. However, on the 5 and the 4, again, we are not seeing the heat maps as good as the previous generation. Now, that is obviously something that we are going to be, I will be talking to Srixon about. I do not know the design. Okay, you see the gumph on the website. This is the marketing. You see the internal technology and all that lot. That is marketing gumph. I want to talk to the product engineers, the product designers, and work out exactly what they've done differently with this new one over the old that could have an impact on certain parts of its forgiveness. Absolutely, on the 4, it is the low. It's the low. The low part of the face is causing the problem with the heat maps, or causing the problem that the heat map is showing. It is slightly more, the blob is moved over towards the heel. With the 4, it seemed, or the ZXi4, they've seemed to move the center of gravity towards the heel, try and make it a bit more of a drawer's golf club, to try and get the head to rotate and move and release as such. You can see that in the heat map. The heat map is elongated slightly towards the heel, but it's just getting that weird, inconsistent flyer type. When I say flyer, normally a flyer is created by lower spin. You catch one slightly wrong and you get a very, very low spin, off it goes. Now, on these ones, what we're noticing is 2 things. We are noticing the flyer from even a couple of mil high on the face, a distinctly low spin or lower spin rate, which is one thing to think about. And then 2, just the sheer smash difference, efficiency difference, from millimeters difference on the face. We're talking very, very fractionally, a few millimeters here, a few millimeters there, and there's like a 0.02 difference on efficiency. Well, 0.02 efficiency from center hits is massive. And this is where we're seeing the huge, yeah, but there you go. Right. And he says the massive issue is on the 4. Anthony says, I bought 11 hybrids, 14 handicap, only played 925s HLs. My launch monitor dispersion, descent angle, spin rates are more consistent with 11 hybrids. What are the drawbacks? Bulge and roll works. There's no drawbacks. Well, there is drawbacks. The fact that you can't get them in your custom fit shaft, because they only offer a certain amount of shafts, and the fact that they don't offer them in custom, but no, you can't bend the lie. Now, of course, with a roll and bulge and a curved bottom, lie angle isn't as important, no, but you can't then obviously get them custom fit to you in the same way as you can do with a premium manufacturer. However, if that doesn't matter and you are within reason working exactly how you should do with them, and there is no drawbacks whatsoever, and keep using what works. Carl says that was some very interesting stuff, Jay. Well, I hope so. And he says, seeing as I'm not on voice today, I'll type it out. My feeling is they stripped out a material to make it a lot thinner, and they had to make it stiffer to be that thinner, and perimeter stiffness has robbed it of some forgiveness. Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, it just, from the bottom of the golf club, the sole, it doesn't seem to want to flex. It's not, a lot of golf club design is based on the sole flexing. When you hit low on the face, the sole flexes in themselves, or the whole head kind of, you get some weird and wonderful things happening. You just do not get the transfer of ball speed that you expect from those low hits. But again, need to chat with the engineers. Anthony says, good restraint there. Honestly, looking forward to what Srixon say back. Would be awesome chatting with their design team on this one. It'd be really even better if we could put it on to a live stream. That won't happen. They definitely won't do that. Adrian says, does that mean the reviews for the 5 and 7 will be held back too? No. I would love to be able to talk to the engineers prior. Yes, I would. But tomorrow, because at one point I have to, like, I just have to. I have to say, look, I'm not saying enough's enough, but I have to give at one point, there you go. This is what I have found. I just want to double check if I have anything back from Srixon. Because I know they were talking to Japan. Obviously, Japan is however many hours ahead. So, of course, for them, it's sometime in the morning. So I may wake up, when I say that, I wake up at Weird and Wonderful Times, but I may wake up to a WhatsApp message or a message of some kind to discuss. And I don't mind. If it's 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and they are up and about and they want to talk, I will get up, move to a part of the house where I'm not going to disturb anyone and have the conversation there. Things I do for YouTube. Right. No, 7 is likely first. It will be. The ZX7 will come first. Carl says, how come there's no ZX6? I don't know. Is it got to be, is some form of superstition? I don't know. Anyone wonder why it's 457 and not 456 or 357? CK says the Srixon news makes me sad. I wouldn't. At the end of the day, I mean, the good news is about the fact that it's honest. What we do here is honest, and when it's found for something that doesn't work for a particular reason, I mean, it works very well from it's got decent face speed, it's got extremely good launch, It doesn't spin that much, but let's be honest, let's be absolutely frank. I'm going to be called whatever you want to be, I don't mind, but let's be honest. The Srixons, even since the days of Z6 something 4.5s and 6.5s and stuff like that, they haven't been the highest spinning of golf clubs. Let's be honest, they haven't. So really, Srixon have always gone with a design profile, which means their spin rates, their face spin rates, are generally speaking never high. We'll put it there, we're never high. They're always on the mid to low, and especially lower on the game improvement side of things. I've noticed that for years, but yeah. Now, of course, everyone's got a different opinion. Obviously, that's great for people that spin the golf ball way too much. So, of course, you can go to an iron which has a lower face spin rate. This is the whole idea of the website, guys, is because forgiveness, yes, that is a good and a bad thing. There you go. And that will be good or bad depending on where someone misses their strikes. The launch factor, the face spin rate, the face speed, all of these things are subjective to what the golfer requires. It's not necessarily saying that because you've got a high launch factor, that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's not saying that you've got a high face spin rate is a good thing or a bad thing. It is absolutely down to what the golfer requires. If you need a low spin iron because you spin the golf ball way too much, there you go. That's the whole idea of it. You're always in those kind of metrics, you're always going to put off one side or the other. You can't go in the middle because then you don't, well, you can go in the middle, but you don't really keep both sides happy. You only keep the middle lot happy. So when you've got extremes, you're always going to require golf clubs that do certain things in extremes, or at least close to that, to be functional and useful for those type of golfers. Jinx, Adrian says, cheers Andy, I'm literally waiting to hit buy on the ZX5s. I have my ZX5 Mark II, which I love. Should I save the money? Ask me in the Discord members. Good idea, remember. Ta-da! Ryan says, is Soltech a bigger con than SST Purine? It's not a bigger con, but it's as. Generally speaking, guys, so let's just take the let's just take the new ZX-i4. Doesn't matter. I mean, its sole is that big relative to, which one's this one? This is the ZX-i7. Cool, this is not easy to do on camera. There you go. So, not huge. Bear in mind, obviously this is the 7 and this is the 4. Like, very much so different golf clubs. So the 4 is slimming down, or at least slimmed down from the toe section, definitely. That might well affect their toe forgiveness and the fact they're trying to move centre of gravity, or have moved centre of gravity seemingly towards the heel. When you're looking at things like sole, that only works as a forgiveness type thing. Sole thickness, effective bounce, sole design, that kind of idea. That only works when you are delivering lie 0 to the ground which you're hitting from, and you have got a decent amount of bounce and you're not overriding it with a bucket ton of angle attack down and stuff like that, or shaft lean is the most important thing. You can have a really massive sole, yeah, like a Ping, something like a G730, massive sole. Yes, if you're going to hit the ground 1 inch before the golf ball and you are not massively down your angle attack with a huge shaft lean, like really presenting the leading edge of the floor, and you're lie 0, all this thing to the floor, then the whole contact patch is resisting digging and it will help you going in. Now, obviously that doesn't happen a lot because generally speaking, we don't play on perfectly flat lie, and getting an individual to understand how to change their dynamic lie depending on the slope that they're on is hugely difficult and hugely difficult to do. So you're always working on the basis that you are not going to use that sole forgiveness, because that sole forgiveness only ever works under very unique conditions. And so the best thing is always hit the ball first. Now, obviously that doesn't happen, so yeah, it's one of those things. But I would say, personally, from a fitting and from a coach's perspective, it's close. It's close. Name Withdrawn says, hello. Hello, Name Withdrawn. Hope you're well. Brian says, looking at the G440 Max and LST distance factor heat maps, it seems to suggest that the LST is more forgiving than the Max. What am I missing? You are not missing anything. Remember, forgiveness, when it comes to a roll and bulge, a curved face, we are looking at not just ball speed retentions. If you look at ball speed retention, effectively the efficiency maps that you see on the irons, drivers are amazing. Because of the roll and bulge, they are amazing off low strikes, as in really very, very good. And if you just see a lot of drivers' efficiency maps, you'd look at it and go, well, that's the most forgiving golf club I've ever seen. Everyone should buy one. That's why we run the distance factor maps. The distance factor map is a measure of spin stability and a measure of its launch parameter stability. So if you have a golf club which has a massive difference between its middle of how it launches the golf ball and how it spins the golf ball, from high on the face and low on the face, there is going to be a big disparity. There's going to be a big dispersion front to back, north and south. And that is how we're using when it comes to the distance factor map. A golf club which has a much more stable launch conditions, whether it be high on the face, low on the face, or anything else like that, will provide you a much more consistent distance. Because we've seen all the efficiency maps. The efficiency maps, they're really good off all the, so there's not going to be a huge, unless you really start moving wacko distance away from the middle, there's not going to be a massive difference in ball speed because they are so efficient. It is very much so now, much more down to the flight dynamics which they impart on the golf ball, which is now by far the most important thing. Thomas, thanks. I won't say not, but Thomas, if you are watching, thanks for that. If you could cancel straight away and go onto the website and do that on there, I'm migrating everyone that I can, if I can, over to the website, because managing two completely different user platforms and login access and all that is a nightmare, and it's becoming more of a nightmare the bigger the website gets. The website is now 700 or so, 800. I don't, Andy, what is the most up-to-date number for however many users there are on the website? I can't remember. I haven't looked at it today to see, but Andy will be able to check. I'm not doing it. I can't. I'm struggling enough to do the production of certain things as they happen on the fly anyway. But it will pop up on in a second. So if everyone can move over from bronze, silver and gold tiers on YouTube over to that of the website, it would be brilliant if people could do that. 788, yeah, so we're nearly 800 members as such. We're 800 users of the website, and so it is going extremely well. Thank you for everyone who's doing that. For all the information that is on there, and the information is only going to get more, and it's only going to get more interesting and diverse in its different metrics of what you can measure depending on the golfer's requirements. That's the whole idea of the website. Right, where are we? Andy, comment of the week. What was that? Hang on. You need Soul to play the blues. Yep. The Soul on the 7-iron still looks like a butter knife compared to the 4. No, it's not. No. Not. There are golf clubs out there which look so much. They are smaller than the Soul of the 7. 7 looks the nicest one in the lot. Won't lie. It would be my pick. Absolutely would be my pick. But it's not crazy small. No. Mike says, do your heat maps measure in and out to in swings, or is it just your natural swing plane? So the heat maps measure efficiency. So this is the great thing with the heat maps. Now, every golfer is different. Every golfer delivers different loft. Every golfer delivers different face-to-path relationships and stuff like that, right? So that's very, very true. However, the heat maps are designed in such a way that it is measuring with me, and I'm a fairly, as you've seen, a fairly 0-0 hitter, that kind of boring thing, which is great because it is within reason optimum. I'm not getting any deflection or anything else like that from a 2D plane with my path and face being very 0-0. Of course, you've got 3D, I think you've got a vertical aspect, but I won't bore you with all that lot. So we're effectively measuring how fast the face is from the middle, and then how much it drops off when you don't hit the middle. The heat map tech is amazingly good at being able to do the maths, because it's all maths, it's all physics of how to account for slight, and I'm lucky because generally speaking I don't move my face more than a degree or two under normal conditions, absolutely. So the maths doesn't have to do much work, if any, to do any kind of adjustment for face to path, and of course then it's only loft. And once the loft, again, generally speaking, I don't move around that much, especially within a normal data set. And so, again, the maths doesn't have to really do much change or to at least adjust for loft delivery. And so everything is loft for loft adjusted. That's why you can compare two 7-irons of different lofts, because they are all loft for loft adjusted on how they work. And so the heat maps work on ball speed retention when you start moving away from the middle. What you'll find is if you are a golfer which has more deflection, whether that be from delivering too much loft or less loft, as in they produce less deflection, or people that deliver a face open to a path or closed to a path, because there's so many different ways, what you'll see is there will be a difference to how you see me hit. The heat map will be exactly the same. I have done tests, and I have got a video coming relatively soon, it's on the list to do, where I have got a golfer that has hit an old golf club, and then I've hit the old golf club. I deliver the golf club massively differently, with it being speed, angle attack, face to path, etc., loft delivery as well, and the heat map, well, okay, it's a long story. The heat map was actually different. However, okay, shall we do a very quick? Okay, the heat map was actually slightly different. It was slightly better for me off the toe. Yep, I think it was. Yep, it was just with the fact that because of the fact that I have a different release, different degrees per second rotation, the toe was a bit greener on mine than it was on the other person's, on the basis that their degrees per second rotation, their closure rate wasn't as high as mine. And so therefore I was getting a little bit more efficiency because my toe was moving through the air quicker. I was pushing it through. So whenever it hit the toe, there was always going to be a bit of twist, a little bit of reduction of efficiency. I was pushing through that, where the other person was hitting it as they normally do and allowing the toe to twist. So as soon as we took into account DPS, so degrees per second rotation, and then worked the math out so that gets adjusted too, instantly, zoom, the heat maps were basically identical, yet I swing completely differently, I swing at completely different speed. It is really good. So what we're saying is the heat map tech works perfectly well. What you'll see is the fact that even on a self-fit app on the gold tier for the website, what you'll find is that the flights that you see there are optimum, and if you hit a fade or you hit a draw, you hit them slightly less or slightly more depending on how you deliver. What we're saying is that the comparative differences between these two golf clubs that you are looking at will be the same. Yeah, you may not hit as far, or you may hit it even further because of your flight dynamics. But we're talking about the differences. If there's a 10% difference in spin rate, there'll always be a 10% difference in spin rate. It's just a case it may have spin either more or less depending on how you deliver. That's the whole idea. That's the great thing about it, is the fact that you can compare like for like two completely different sets of golf clubs. Right. Andy, I'm pretty certain, just said the exact same thing as I just literally said, and he said it in nearly 3 sentences and it took me 3 minutes. So well done, Andy, on that one. Eero says, had to get on a work call. Did Jay say we're all buying JPXs only if they work for you? Mike says, thanks, just wondered whether it has any impact on your data in general. Hopefully, Mike, I've explained that enough, probably too much detail, but doesn't matter, I don't mind regurgitating. Ryan says, have any OEMs reached out to you to discuss any of the heat map or the findings in the heat map data? Different manufacturers, I have had conversations with them regards to the data. Obviously, generally speaking, because of the fact it is very new to YouTube, and I can only see this going one way. If you look at how different things have gone on, let's be honest, I started the 70, 80, 90 miles an hour concept. And I started it because of you guys. You guys constantly said in all the reviews that I've ever watched, and mine also back in the day, was, why don't you swing it, and why don't you get someone in here that swings at that normal speed so we can actually see a golf ball, how far it goes with these golf clubs at normal speed. My point is always, there's no point getting a high handicap golfer in here who swings at 70 miles an hour on the basis that they can't hit the same shot time after time anyway, so you'll just see a big pile of nothing. So I then thought to myself, okay, so why don't I start doing, and this has been a while now, why don't I start doing data sets for 70, 80, 90 miles an hour so I can I can appease as many people as possible because they all don't swing at 90 miles an hour. I started that, and now somehow, weirdly, different channels are also doing slower swing speed testing, like it was their idea. Yep. Now, it is different with the heat maps. Reason why it's different with the heat maps, because any moron can swing at 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour to showcase and do a different review. There you go. You can add to your review straight away. So you can say, look, I'm doing 70, 80, 90 miles an hour. There you go. Well done. Good luck at copying the heat map tech and doing it properly. The heat map tech is ridiculous. Now, I love Excel. I'm okay at it. And with ChatGPT, I'm a master. However, the heat map tech, wow. Yeah, wow. Good luck at copying that. But saying that, I absolutely can see this type of review that I have originated, how I have started, I have blossomed into what it's starting to become, will be borrowed by bigger channels, because people will see the requirement for all this kind of data. I think golfers are becoming much more educated. Golfers are becoming, they are wanting more from their reviews. They are not just wanting to see someone smack it on a golf course and say, oh yeah, how well this golf club is, how good this golf club is on a subjective feeling. They want to actually see how good that golf club is, not just be sold something from a YouTube review. And so I think it will change as time goes on. Eero says, Jay, have you ever gotten black Mizuno irons to test? That deserves some silence. And the answer is yes. Who does their black iron wear? How does their black iron do tire fusion? Don't know. Being honest, I don't know. Haven't hit it yet. And generally speaking, in here, because it is very much so, well, there's no grass and dirt in here. I wouldn't allow it. The screen would not like it. I don't wear them. Excuse me, YouTube Winnie Pops. Just have a quick YTD. Fish. I had a girlfriend when I was 17, going back into college years now, and she was only about 4'10". I think she was at 4'11", 5 foot. She was tiny, and that's what she used to say. You know when you make that noise when you drink, and then you suck the drink in, and then you catch a little bit of air, and she used to say, "Fish." Just stuck with me. Anyway, right. Most deadly Geist. Nice. Sorry if you've done it already, but would love to see a course playthrough from you. You strike it so well. I've done one. Now, the reason why, well, I was going to do a full course review, but there was there's reasons why I didn't do the full course review. It ended up being 5 holes only. We won't go into the reasons why. That one's been done many, many years ago. But yeah, there is one on there from Thetford Golf Course that did a 5-hole stretch. Played with a playing partner, someone that I've played golf with over the years, good friend, and so I use golf whenever I do play, which is not often whatsoever, just to catch up more than anything else. But I did grab the camera and do a little bit of filming, but that was many, many years ago, but the reason why I didn't is because it just didn't really get any traction whatsoever when it comes to the views. And so there is a lot of work that goes into YouTube content, especially now. And so really, if I was going to spend time doing something, it needs to, within reason, wipe its own nose for getting enough views to earn the money to make sure it's worthwhile doing, being honest. So yeah, I'm a bit reluctant to do more course vlogs on the basis that unless I can guarantee people will watch it, share it, like the videos, comment on it, do all the things to try and populate it out to different people, it's not worth the time for me to do, unfortunately. Right, where are we now? So Andy says, I've seen the Black Forge photos after people have hit them, and they seem to wear much less than the TIs. The TIs, I couldn't believe it. The golf club that I had was straight from the demo truck. Okay, so it gets used a lot, gets whacked in the bag, pops in there, rattles around and stuff like that. It was horrific. The TIs are a good golf club. They're a decent golf club. There's nothing wrong with the TIs whatsoever. However, I must admit, I was shocked. They looked like they'd been through the washing machine, let alone anything else, with it banging around with loads of rocks in, smacking around and stuff like that. These scratches and marks on it was just mental. Shishu Audio Man, hello, hope you're good. Was there some Srixon news earlier? There was. You'll have to, anyone scroll back to a minute marker and pop it on there for Shihu Audio Man. That would be greatly appreciated, because you don't have to watch it live. You can zip back to where you want to get it, and then you can put it on there if you want to. So if someone could, if either Andy or Niels has the capacity to find out how many minutes and however many whatever that was, then by all means. But it is definitely on there, yes. Eero says, so far this year, the 925s, hang on, whatever, people, right, what am I doing? So far this year, the 925 seemed to be the biggest leap forward from the previous year or prior year models in the iron category. Yes, I would say Cobra with the Forge Tech X, the King Tech X, absolutely the X. Wow, like wow, that was good. I don't know if there is a capacity to, Andy, there must be on the overall efficiency or forgiveness metric. Is there a way that we can do for not like for like, but you know, for model adjustments from 923, 925, from the Cobra Forge Tech to the King Tech? Is there a way that we could find out it's X amount percent better, X amount of percent worse, or I don't know? There might be, of course there would be. Possibly. We'll see. But I agree, Big Nut. Not quite sure what that was. My 923s are sad. They're fine. Just hit them in the middle. No, they're not bad at all whatsoever. Iro says, Jay, did you say on the live stream last week that Ping might have a mini driver in the works? I did. There is talk on the water cooler. Iro says, don't forget to like and subscribe, people. Jay hitting our swing speeds. We owe him that. I hate it. I will not lie. I hate swinging at 70 and 80 miles an hour. Of all the things that I do, it is the biggest bugbear that I have. It drives me mental. Swinging in a way which is completely different to how you want to swing it is no good for your golf game. Like none. No different to the mishit stuff. Purposely trying to do a data set where your main focus is to deliver good delivery dynamics and purposely hit it in spots you really shouldn't do is not good for your golf. But it does serve as a very, very good test of the equipment. But yeah, right. Yorkie Bar says, is the 11 driver still worth a try versus second-hand mainstream drivers, especially for slow swing speeds, old man speed? Well, I will say this, the 11 driver still holds one of the highest ball speed efficiency things I think I've ever seen. It is just how springy that face is, goes back to the days of where they were basically illegal. They were mental. It was just, that thing is mental. Where is it? It's over there somewhere. It is just crazy how fast you can get that faces. Now, they say that it's conforming. I haven't seen it on the conforming list. I will say that. They said they've tested it at St Andrews or twice, and the cost of that and stuff like that, although I haven't seen any official information on that. And let's face it, really, unless you're talking about guys that are going to be on tour playing the 11 driver, it really matters not a jot, because no one's going to be able to. There is no way that your club can test your driver to see if it's conforming. And generally speaking, bearing in mind, depending on how old your driver is anyway, and I'm not saying anything to do with the, I mean, obviously old ones, then potentially yes, because they were, I suppose like the TaylorMade R7 quad, they had an R7 quad plus, or an R7 plus quad, or the standard R7, where one was conforming and one wasn't. One had a legal face and one didn't. But you could have had a golf club, say, from 4 years ago, yeah, 5 years ago even, and use it all the time and be a really good ball striker. And over the years, that face becomes a little bit more pliable and actually can go illegal. So this is the whole idea. And guys, even you can have a legal conforming driver, but it be illegal because of the amount you've used it. And so, yeah, that's the whole idea. Golf clubs and tournaments, normal tournaments, have not got the capability of testing your driver to see if it conforms. No different to the grooves. They're not going to go around and check your grooves and stuff like that. I mean, of course, if someone draws attention to it, possibly and stuff, but generally, no. And let's face it, the box screws on wedges made much more of a difference than the illegal faces on a driver. There you go. Carl says, I'm a moron. I suppose I should read the rest of it. But I can't swing a 7 iron at 90 miles an hour. Well, yeah. I was talking about from a review point of view. Any reviewer or most reviewers can swing. Most reviewers should do more stuff than they actually do. But then again, it works. That's the whole idea. It's the cinematic side of things. It gets views, it gets people clicking. It works from that side of things. From their business model is just to make clickbait content for them, just to get as many views as possible, to earn as much money as possible. There you go, that's job done. When you're talking about the stuff that I do, primarily it is there to inform anyone who wants to think about testing these, buying these, or anything else like that. How do these perform? Should these be on your list to test? Are they forgiven off the toe, heel, or low? And whether that floats your boat from what you need from an iron or not? Does it launch this way? Does it spin that way? Does all the different things an iron can do? And so if it works for you or not, that's the whole idea of it. And hopefully you get enough people over the time now. What are we, nearly 28,000? Are we at 28,000 yet? I don't know. Yes, we are 28,030. So thanks very much for the 28,030 of you for hopping along the ride. Andy says, you're killing me, Smalls. I'm thinking that's the percentage better or worse comment. Regarding ZX4, I'm waiting for the next bit. Hero says, sorry, Andy, that's not what I thought I was asking. Sorry if I, in that way, have misunderstood what you were asking. Spike says, registered on the website. Guess I need login info to change over. Right, so if you are a YouTube member, you will have obviously a certain, not to say cooling off time, it's not cooling off time. So you have a reoccurring date. When you're a YouTube member, you sign up to YouTube. YouTube says, okay, well, this is the 10th. And thank you very much for being a whatever member. Your next payment date will be the 10th. And it comes just constantly the 10th. If you cancel now, you will be active on YouTube until the 10th of next month. And of course, if you signed up on the 20th, you'll now obviously have 10 days left and stuff like that. So as soon as your YouTube expires and you go onto the website, there you go, and you log in over here, your username, your password, and press the login, you'll come up to, you'll have a My Account button. Click on the My Account, and then you'll have the selections like this to choose from. Which one you want. As you can see, look, I was being busy over the weekend. Look. That's damage. Where is it? Look. Can't see that one, can you really? You see those ones? And that one. Damage. See? I like getting my hands dirty from time to time, but yeah, that's the whole idea. So as soon as everyone has finished doing their YouTube thing, you'll be able to go onto the website and be completely free. Now, the great thing about the difference between YouTube and the website is the gold on YouTube, because YouTube takes basically 50% of your subscriptions, all the money that you pay, YouTube takes about half of it. Or within reason, there is 50%, give or take 45, 47, whatever the percentage is. So basically half is taken in fees. And so moving over to the website, it goes from 50% basically to like 7. And so much, much better. That's why the gold tier on YouTube is $22.99, to take into account obviously the fee side of things. But on the website, it's $13.99. So it's much, much more cost-effective, user-friendly, economically viable for you guys to be on gold. And really, gold is where you've got the self-fit tool. The self-fit tool is an amazing tool. If anyone is looking at golf clubs and want to see how a set golf club is going to work for them with their swing, because you can change the sliders for your club head speed, your angle attack, and your shaft lane. Again, if you need any help with that, just shout out and we will help you out. Find out obviously a way to put the sliders to a point where you understand where you are, and it will show you the comparative differences between any two sets of irons. And they can be completely different sets of irons of different lofts and stuff like that, and you'll showcase what one golf club will do the rest. And it's not just 7 irons. They have all the irons in there, from commonly 4 iron all the way down to pitch and wedge. Now, is it an exact science? Of course it's not, because that you'll see on the self-fit will be optimal flights. if you were a robot and hit it 0, 0, blah, 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 these are as far as they would go. This is what the golf ball within reason would do. Everyone doesn't swing that way. Everyone has a slight face open to a path, a hit a little fade, or a hit will slice, or a hit a draw, hook, low ball, high ball, doesn't matter. The whole idea of the Self-Fit app is to showcase the differences between what 2 irons will do. Now, you may hit the golf ball slightly further, you may hit the golf ball slightly shorter because of the way you swing. But the differences, the comparable differences between the 2 irons will be exactly the same. There will be no differences. If there's a 10% difference in distance between one or the other, yes, you may not hit that 5 iron, that 7 iron, 162 yards or whatever. You may hit your 7 iron 142 because you play a interesting fade. But the difference is there will be that 10% difference. That's the great thing of the Self-Fit tool. You're looking at it from a comparative difference point of view, not for an absolute, this is exactly how far you will hit this golf club. More so, you could argue it's a two-way thing. You can see, one, for the faders and heavy faders out there, you can see from the Self-Fit app the differences between the 2 irons, absolutely. Also, the amount of distance that you're potentially losing from having the swing dynamics that you have and the clear gains that you could have if you changed your swing to be a little bit more effective. There you go. Right. Aero, Andy loves Excel, Jay likes Chrome. Yes, I do like Chrome. Anthony says, Aero, I'm waiting for my 925 Forge to come in, so guys, go buy some. Andy says, was it explosive diarrhea after the 5th hole? It wasn't explosive diarrhea after the 5th hole. There was something going on in life at that time. We are talking circa 2018, was that? I think it was 2018. I can't remember. Oh, that was an interesting year. Eero says, Cobra 2 right, but we all want the 3D printed ones. Yes, we do. Neil says 54 minutes from now is when it's 54 minutes from now is when it's at. There you go. Oh, regarding the ZX4s. Am I just reading the same stuff? Because I went and chopped around a little bit. Sorry, Andy, that's not what I thought. Registered, yeah, that's what we got onto. And Helgard Wagner. Hey, Joe. Hi. Guessing that's me. J, but close. No worries. Well, same. We got 3 letters. 3 letters there. You got that, and at least the second one's a vowel, which is right. But then, yeah, that's fine. New subscriber on your channel, definitely my go-to for reviews. Welcome along. Welcome, Helgard. Thank you very, very much for joining, or at least onto the subscriber. You're always more than welcome. Thank you very much for the chat. And again, just anything that you've got, pop it up there. Oh, I just saw that on the thing. There you go. Right. We are good. Oh, it just had an update. There we go. Stupid thing. Right, where are we now? Where are we now? Where are we now? If you could pick up a set of Ping Eye 59s for a very good price, new, would you say they are worth it? 59s were a really interesting iron. So I feel it was a very complex iron. It was Halloumi core. Was that the ones where the Ping had the Halloumi core? Very complex iron, very expensive iron, very, very good in certain golfers' hands, but I really, without testing it, I don't know. Have I got a 59? I don't think I've got a 59. Not very forgiving, not very helpful, shall we say. Great golf clubs. Feel was a little bit kind of, feel was a little bit, there you go. I just realised I had the chat box muted. Normally it pops up and makes a really nice noise. Sorry about that, whoever it was. It was Glenn Goya. Sorry, Glenn. Normally makes a noise. I have turned the noise back on. So, where are we now? Eero says, Jay has an older video with the i59s, the i230s were more forgiving. That's not a surprise. i230s are more forgiving than most. Name and drawn, so 94 miles an hour, 7.9 here. Oh, boom. Anthony Lopez says, blimey, the biomechanics on some of you nuts. Don't mind me at 75 after the turn. Helgard says, I have switched both and the price difference between the set of i59s and the i230s is 1,000. Okay, yeah, that's a fair amount. I'm not so worried about forgiveness. I have finally found the middle of the golf face. It took a while. In that case, then, just use it on the base. If you're not worried about forgiveness whatsoever, literally just work on the basis of launch factor and face spin rates. If they, or whichever one of those are 59s, if that works within what your launch window needs to be for your speed, go with that. Save some money. Abdullah says, what do you think of the Callaway Elite X at 8 degrees? Well, 8 degrees, you have either got to have a very big issue with displaying huge amount of loft and hitting down lots and needs lots of, or not a lot of loft to try and get the spin off, or you swing it at an almighty speed to try and get the spin profile at a certain amount so you can get the golf ball going. 8 degrees is not a lot. Now, if you are a huge loft increase deliverer, I mean, I'm someone who adds loft in my delivery for a driver. 8 degrees is not a lot of loft. You're going to get a potential quite a bit of the old curvature on the golf ball from that. Eero says, 42 people here and only 21 likes. Come on, people, we can do better. Joking there. Helgard says, also, I meant Jay. Sorry, no worries. Eero says, Andy hits his 7-iron 382 yards. That's a half swing. Anthony says, got to hop off for work. Oh, meeting gang, little nut out. Bye-bye. Thank you very much, Anthony, appreciate it. Eero says, later, Anthony. And Andy says, Jimi Hendrix. Hey, Joe. Carl says, hey, Jay, where are you going with that gun in your hand? Gun in your hand? Oh, yeah. I've been doing some exercise this weekend. I've been doing a little bit more of a manual handling approach. I took a massive hedge out of the side of between me and my neighbours. Had a digger, had a mini digger, little excavator, which was great fun. And took out, I don't know how, it was 15 metres worth of fairly mature conifer, way too big. It was like 4 to 5 metres wide at one point. And yeah, done all that. And then, because we're having, got 24 English yew trees between 1.25, 1.5 metres tall coming on Thursday. So we're going to plant them. That will be our new boundary between the front driveways. And there you go. So I'm tired. I ache because I'm not used to obviously doing the manual, or at least doing certain things. I do manual stuff, but I don't do the same thing all the time. So my body actually never gets used to doing a certain activity. So I'll then do something different, and then, yeah, I'm getting old. Right. Eric says, Jay, what new gear besides the Ping Mini are you hearing is coming? Are we in a release downtime for new clubs? Yes, we are. Absolutely, we're in a release downtime. We'll get the odd thing, which will be dribs and drabs, the odd bit here, bit there, possibly. But main thing, what we're talking about now is we're waiting for the countdown to August, September. That is when the next release time will be. Titleist may well redo their irons. I'm not quite sure. You'll definitely have a Ping. When I say definitely, you should have a Ping update. I really hope they don't touch the i230. We'll see. And there'll be other ones as well. You've got potentially Mizuno dropping another of their new line. You kind of guess what that one is. So we'll see how that one goes. Right. Eero, 8 degrees is too much loft for Andy. Yeah, he's got a 5 at one point. Wowzers. Very fine. Hi Jay, I just changed from a set of i230s to a new JPX 925 forged. I am finally able to stop the ball again on my firm link screens. Yeah, so the i230s, if you look at all pings as a general rule, generally, this is not a case of, I'm not picking on any iron specifically, but I'm just talking holistically, or generally speaking. The ping have a tendency to have a slightly higher CG, and so their launch factor is not as high as others. That is not always the case, and of course they do have certain irons out there, an iron here and iron there, with the fact that it will be pretty good in its launch. But generally speaking, ping irons, they have a slightly higher CG, and so something like the JPX 925 Forge, which launches the golf ball really well, spins the golf ball pretty darn good as well, and has got a fairly fast face, works very, very well getting that golf ball stopping on a green. Name Withdrawn says, just received my Cleveland Zipcore XL graphite iron set. I really like the Cleveland Zipcore XLs. They look very, very similar to that. Yeah, of the 5. But they, a similar company. Obviously, Srixon, Cleveland are sisters, sisters, brothers, whatever, of the same thing. So you can see the design bleeding into the 5. Or it could have been the fact that it bled the other way initially, but it doesn't matter. There's no way he knew Hendrix lyrics. You're right. I don't. Cole's laughing at that one though. Hero, I took out 15 meters of earth on my 9 holes yesterday. Yep. Hero, will you be getting any more Titleist loaners from your fixer? No. So Paul Kent at Flempton, the local pro at Flempton, very kindly allowed me to borrow his demo stuff. Very, very kind of him, because obviously not everybody is that way inclined, and most pros, what you'll find, will be effectively looking out for themselves, and that's it, which is a bit poor, but there you go. I will, again, now I think when it comes to sort of Easter time, I will make another concerted barrage of emails, contact somehow, if I can, Titleist, Acushnet, to see if we can drum up some form of media relationship. Now again, it may fall on absolutely, once again, deaf ears, but all I can do is try. Because that's the one thing this channel really is missing at the moment, is having Titleist put their product out there. And if they do start a media partner relationship with the channel, all I can hope is that their golf clubs are actually really good. Because if they're not, and the heat maps aren't good at all, I've got a feeling that will be the last time that they will give me golf clubs to test. Right. Fairway Finder says, thanks for the comments, Jay. No, you are absolutely welcome, no problem with that. Abdullah says, what ball are you playing, Jay? Well, I'm still playing the RB Tour, not the RB Tour X. I prefer the softer feeling golf ball. I fit my golf ball from the green backwards. So to me, putting is the most important thing, chipping is next, approach play, irons and all that lot. And then I worry about driver afterwards. Really the difference between a little bit of launch and spin profile between the driver, between the two golf balls, the Tour and the Tour X, really is not going to be that much difference. And the difference you're going to make the other end is, for me, far, far more important. So always, guys, make sure you fit your golf balls from the green backwards. And he says, I'm your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate. John says, I play off 9 and I'm looking into new irons for this season. Currently a set of 919 hot metal irons, wanting something to give me a bit more height and spin but not lose too much distance. Suggestions? I don't think I have measured a 919 hot metal. I have them in my little box of tricks over there of old Mizuno DNA heads. I do have them, so potentially I could test them, but again, it would take X amount of time, and that's the problem with data sets for the heat maps, it does take a while to do, and yeah. Any suggestions? If you're looking at the, without obviously knowing with the 919s, you're going to need, you're absolutely looking for something which is going to launch as high as it can do, retain a decent amount of spin within reason, but has a fast face and does really well from that slow swing speed. But again, that will be www.askgolfnut.com, where you can actually see how all the irons will compare. Excuse me, YouTube window pops. If you know your swing speed, if you know your angle of attack, you know how much you de-loft or not. And if you don't know how much you de-loft or not, we can have a little chat about other metrics where you can kind of, within reason, back calculate within reason what you do, and to give you a very, very good understanding, when you look at all the comparable irons on the list, what irons will work best for you. Ski 350, any word on the ST Max 230 replacements are coming? Yes, January. I'm hearing we got some funky materials coming. We're like funky materials. Now, I don't know what they're doing. I need to find out if I can do, but I'm hearing some funky materials, some like properly new age materials. The thing is, and this is the thing, everybody, not here, because obviously the guys, it's really nice, obviously you guys are on there, however many people are gonna be watching this or whatever it be over the passage of time. I'm talking in the thousands, in the thousands and thousands, 10,000, whatever it is across the whole of the golfing world. If they really want equipment to come down in price and not see the continuation of this upward like that, Mizuno this year, obviously with their 230 series, their their drivers, their fairway woods and their hybrids have discounted them so much to reposition the price-wise to a point of where they want the golfer to put the fitters and the retail environments in the position of where they themselves say, I want to test that because of the price, because it's ridiculously cheap. And this is, I cannot believe how cheap these drivers, the Mizuno 230 drivers, the fairways and the hybrids are for equipment which is just as good, if not better, than a lot of the other golf clubs out there. And the reason why Mizuno are doing that, Mizuno want to get the golf clubs in their hands, to obviously to sell them, because they're a company, they want to sell golf equipment. But they want market share. And at the end of this year, although it won't be at the end of this year because they won't make a decision for next year based on right at the very end, they'll make it probably sometime September, October. But at the end of between January, February or so to September, October, if they haven't seen a massive uptake in the amount of equipment that's been sold and is in players' golf bags, they will now know that price is not the overriding metric for what people choose to decide on. And they will put the price back up to £520 for a driver, and just accept they'll sell less drivers. And this is the problem. If you look at the sales and you look at things, golf equipment manufacturers nowadays are now working on the basis that they may well understand that they may not sell as many, as in the throughput of drivers and fairway woods, etc. They may not sell as many, but their profit margins are higher because the costs of these golf clubs now are mental. And so they are making more margin as such from it. They have to, because they're selling less of them. That is a road to going the wrong way. And this is why I've urged every single person that can share it about, that if they truly want to see prices come down of all equipment, there is no way that if everyone went out and bought ST230 stuff, whether it be fairway woods, hybrids, drivers, and Mizuno ran out of stock, they cleared them out effectively. Mizuno will be going, well, this works. Let's quickly, this next driver, I don't care, we'll make no, it's a lost leader on it, but we'll make hardly anything on it whatsoever. Just get it down at 300 quid. If you can get that driver at 300 quid, sell it. Whatever it be in $360 or whatever that is, or $300, however it works for conversions, because I know how it works sometimes. Just do it. because as soon as their market share goes up, TaylorMade and Callaway et al. Are not going to put up with that, and the only way they can do it is either one of two ways. They're either going to be going mental on the marketing of their super duper whooper duper ones, which costs more money, and there's no guarantee that it will actually make a massive difference, or they'll follow suit and they'll start bringing their prices down from the 5s to the 4s because they'll have to try and then get it to a point of where, because Mizuno aren't seen still, irons, absolutely, they're seen as premium, one of the best manufacturers, if not the best on balance manufacturer of irons out there. When it comes to woods, they still don't have that same reputation that the likes of, say, Ping, TaylorMade, Callaway do. And so they're always going to be this little scales like this, that if a Mizuno is £300, but they bring down the Titleist or the TaylorMade or the Callaway or the Ping to £400, well, £100, yeah, well, do you know what? People might go, well, for 100 quid more, I'll go for something which I know is really good, when they're all really good nowadays. But if there's a difference between £300 or £280 or whatever it is to £500-600, well, that's huge. You can buy 2 of these for 1 of them. What's someone going to do? Okay, for the people that lose £1,000 out of their pocket thinking, well, where'd that go? Oh, don't worry. That's not going to bother them whatsoever. But for the vast majority of golfers, having a driver and all the other ones, the fairway woods and hybrids, which are basically half the cost of some of the others, that's a massive factor. So there you go. So it's up to you guys, basically what I'm saying. Right, where are we going? Carl says, dark helmet quote. Yep. Can't you just ask Mr. Finch for a loaner? I need many, many loaners. I need all their irons and everything. So, yeah. Eero says, what defines a mini driver? Callaway's 340cc Titleist is going to drop a 280cc one. Does mini just encompass anything between LST heads and 3 wood size? Yes. Yep. Basically. Yeah, you're right, it does. CC used to be the word for MOI before they, yeah, that's very true. But I don't like the word MOI because all MOI is a resistance to twist, effectively. They talk about so much on resistance to twist, talking about how much the axis, x-axis and y-axis and all this, like how much resistance to twist there is, where I don't personally care about resistance to twist. I care about how, because effectively when you have, you need a certain amount of twist to get gear. Because it's only the fact, if you hit a golf club, or the golf ball, sorry, with a golf club, and there was no twist in the head whatsoever, so the ball didn't counter gear, the golf ball wouldn't draw, the golf ball wouldn't fade, it would just bugger off in that direction, or that direction, and never come back. And so there has to be a certain amount of rotational effect to get gear effect, to get the golf ball coming back to target. I don't like MOI, because all it really does from a metric point of view in people's brains is say resistance to twist. Well, for me, how a golf club is, how good and consistent a golf club is maintaining its launch, or correct launch and spin profiles to gain that distance back that we'd otherwise lose from obviously not hitting the middle, but it gets it back in dynamics. The whole idea, obviously low on the face, it's supposed to gain a bit of efficiency other than the fact obviously hitting away from the center effective middle. It's supposed to gain that because it's got less loft, but then obviously have more spin. But sometimes, and a lot of the time, there's too much spin applied and then you get too much distance taken away. This is the importance of the understanding of consistency from the roll and bulge face. Nothing to do with the efficiency, ball speed retention on a driver, absolutely on a flat face time, yes. But on a driver, it's got nothing to do with it, or very little to do with that. And MOI is just a big burr. Stop talking about MOI. It's like saying this golf club's really good because it's got a black crown. Cool. What's time? Oh, it's nearly 9 o'clock. Okay, so let's just do this one until 9 o'clock. Right. What we got? Name and drawn. Watched someone with 101 mile an hour swing, total 300 yards with Cleveland high bore XL driver. Doable. with a fair amount of bounce, 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 and roll, it's doable. So if you were to go get your swing speed and times it by about 2.6, 2.7, that is the theoretical maximum you should be getting the golf ball out there. That is absolutely down to where you're playing, the conditions you're playing in, and all that lot. So carry distance and total roll, or total distance incorporating bounce, bounce, and roll, is a minefield of complete. That's why you never should do driver testing on golf course. You should never actually go on a hole and hit drivers and say, look, this is my review of this golf club. I've got 2 drivers here. I've got this one and I've got this one. Let's go see how they work. Let's go hit some shots. Let's go play some golf and see how they work. Hit shots, hit shots, hit shots, and then make any form of assessment of how good they are based on this one goes this far, this one goes this far, and all you've done is basically test. Nothing to do with the golf club, but the landing conditions. You could have one golf club that actually goes 15 yards further in the air than the other golf club, hits an upslope, and effectively stops so quickly that that's your distance. The other golf club, which is 15 yards shorter in the air, hits a downslope and just chases down the fairway. Well, you're going to say, well, that one's 20 yards longer. Well, it's not. It's just had an extra 35 yards worth of roll. And that's the conditions of the golf course. That's got absolutely nothing to do with the ball dynamics that have enabled the golf ball to go 15 yards shorter on one than the other. I mean, it's crazy. That's why you don't do on-course testing. And he says, the more CC it was, the more forgiving it should be. The bigger the golf club is, the more capacity they have to be able to use the design to make it more forgiving, definitely. You can still make a 460cc head ridiculously unforgiving by putting the center of gravity, ramming it right close to the face. But you're right. Yeah, of course you are right. And yeah, the bigger the golf club, the more capacity they have to make it more forgiving. Or more consistent, but yeah, play on words. I honestly don't know what the difference between a mini driver and a 3-wood is. CC size. That'd be, I mean, same loft, so a mini driver will normally run between 11 and 13 degrees. Obviously with a 3-wood you'll run at say a 15-degree static. A driver will normally run between a 9 and 10.5 degree head, so you have that gap in between. But remember, 2-wood, there you go. And then of course the differences in size between a driver at 460 and a 3-wood of different sizes, because different 3-woods are different size. Basically every single driver is 460cc nowadays, unless you're talking about an LS Tech head, where commonly they are 10 to 15 cc smaller. Some manufacturers run exactly the same size. But yeah. Ryan says, hit the new Cobra fairways versus my G433 wood and hybrid. They were longer and easier to hit. The Cobra fairways, like the dark speed fairways, were brilliant. Really were. Really good. Still in my bag when it comes to I want a golf club to get a little bit further out there and stuff. That dark speed X fairy wood 3-wood just. Michael Sinclair says, if you compare Mizuno T1 with T3, with both at, for example, 60-10, have you noticed any difference in performance workability? None. The only way I would say the difference between a T1 and T3 would be if you are someone who gravitates heel to middle, then a T1 will generally speaking work good, absolutely fine. If you are someone who moves center to toe, it's not saying the T1 won't work at all. It will definitely work out the center ones, but it may drop off a bit more in your distance feeling if you're off the toe. So with the T3, you'll get that back if you are a slight middle, because it's a bigger head, the center of gravity is slightly further out towards the toe, larger perimeter weighting, that kind of idea. Where the T1 is a little bit more blade-like in its pulling of its CG, slightly heel biased, but it's minute. Jay, how should one think about a 3-wood compared to a 3 hybrid? 3-woods are ridiculously difficult to hit with only 15 degrees aloft and a really long shaft. Most golfers don't produce enough swing speed to get the golf ball up in the air to make it functional, and rely absolutely on the biggest part of the bounce, bounce and roll to get its distance rather than anything to do with carry. Commonly they carry their 5-wood further than their 3-wood. But then again, and a 3 hybrid has got 4 degrees, generally speaking, more static loft. It's got a shorter shaft. Yes, the centre of gravity is not as far back and low as a fairy wood. However, it's darn sight easy to hit. And the more loft, slightly less shaft length, yes, but that will enable you to hit the middle better. Those differences, generally speaking, will have a better result, like for like, than the 3 wood. Now, of course, you'd have to go to a 2 hybrid, give or take, to get somewhere near the same loft number as the 3 wood. And if you were comparing a 3 wood and a 2 hybrid, or at least a like for like lofted hybrid, then yes, if you were to hit them out the middle, etc., the 3 would potentially have more go in it because of a longer shaft, and also further and back centre of gravity help in the launch potentially. But generally speaking, people don't do that. People, you see their stripe patterns their spray patterns get worse the longer the shaft gets. So absolutely, just make sure you use the right club for your skill level, for your speed, and for your ability to be able to strike the golf ball, dependent on how long the shaft is. Andy, okay, I should have said what's the difference between my 3 wood and a mini driver. I guess I'll be the only person setting the 3 wood to a 12, I guess, yeah. First thing I do with any 3 wood is whack it up to as much loft it will go. A 15-degree head, yeah, that was 17 degrees straight away, or whatever, because I want as much height as I possibly can do. I like seeing a 3 wood go into a green with some modicum of stop. I don't like, if I know that I'm not going to put any 3 woods at all into any greens, if there's some very long par 5s and I think there's a might that I might put a 3 wood into a green, I'm using my Mizuno. If I'm using my 3 wood off the tee, and there's no use for the 3 wood into a green, I'll then flick over to the Cobra for the added punch. Because I don't care about the fact that it's going to come in, I don't mind it going like that. I want the Cobra to go like that, but I want the Mizuno to have a chance at coming in with some stop. Right, no, I'm just not going to look at it. I'm just going to say, right, that's the lot. No, we won't be. Right, guys, unless anyone has got any other, that's been, oh no, I'll do it till 9:05, because obviously it was 5 minutes past 7 when I came on, technically. It's been a much fun one. I like this one. My hands hurt. I've got bruised hands from digging holes in the ground for the concrete posts for a fence. Not to replace the hedge, obviously that's going to be the U, but to segregate some bits and pieces. I'm going to put a fence, and yeah, you could put met posts and stuff in, but no, I like concrete. I like something being sturdy. If it's going to be there, it's going to stay there. Just in case the missus sort of drives into it when the wife gets in the car or whatever, and she's boom like that, I want it to stay there. Well, I did find randomly a nice scuff on the front of her front bumper. No one knows where that come from. No one. Just miraculously appeared there. I said to the wife, I said, what's that? She goes, well, where did that come from? I don't know, I'm asking you. The wife went years, like 10 years, when she passed the test, however long ago, but she went about 10 years or so before she realised that rain wasn't the thing that's supposed to clean your car. Aero says, I feel bad that Srixon isn't a step forward. It would be, right, so this is the thing we don't know. The ZX4, if there is a problem with the head that I've got and there is this weirdness, they actually potentially could make the ZX i4 as good as the ZX4 from a comparative point of view of heat map, if you use the slowest part of the middle, the center of the face, within reason. It's going to be a slightly difference, but if it's going to be that close, it's such a small amount, I wouldn't say that it's going to be one big difference over the other. However, if you use the fast parts, the fast readings, because this is why we're getting different readings from the center, this is why the question needs to be asked from Srixon, why are we getting some weird and wonderful results from the middle? And so if we use the slow, then effectively what that means is the heat map looks really, really good. If you use the fast bits though, of the face, that means relative to that fast bit of the face, everything else is not good at all. Well, within reason. And so there is a difference, but we need to find out. John says, apologies if there's been asked already, but have you heard anything about the Mizuno S1 irons? Yes, that was asked a little bit further up. I have. I'm not allowed to say, this is obviously a public forum. This is open all access. So yeah, I'm not allowed to say much, if any. But the S1s, originally there was chit chat of them coming in September. Whether that will be January now, I don't know. There's many things it depends on, but there is a potential they will be here in September, if not January. And the S1 irons will be like the S3s, but slightly smaller, and obviously blade-like. And they will take over the 241s as such currently. I don't think they're going to run concurrently. I don't think they're going to run side by side. I think they will, as soon as that one goes, that one will die. But bearing in mind, obviously, 241 and 245, well, yeah, 241, 243, 245 should be replaced in January anyway. So obviously Mizuno are moving away from certain things. Will the 24 series or the 26 series never actually be 26? Will the S1 be the new 261 and not be named 261 whatsoever and actually just be S1, S3? And will then now the 243 or the 263 and 265 move into a completely different category and not be the 26? It will be something else. We don't know yet. Will Batman get to the bomb in time? He does, and somehow he managed to get the autopilot working. Evo, you are talking about the boss. Better hope she doesn't listen to these, Jay. Oh no, she's too bored about golf stuff. Same bat time, same bat channel. Will be. It will be. Now we're at, right, there we go. That's no, we're over, so that's good. We're 2 hours. Right, guys, I hope they don't call it 263. I don't think they will. Love it, thank you, no problem whatsoever. Right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it as always. If you could make sure, as always, that you like, subscribe, join the AskGolfNut.com, support the channel, all those things. Lots of great information on there. Obviously, that's built for you guys, all the information that we get from the reviews, and also basically to make your iron choice much, much easier. So now we go to 10. No, we don't. Right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. All the links. There's me at AskGolfNut.com. There's a Discord if you want to jump on and have a little bit of a chat and a bit more interactive chat on there. Ask lots of different questions, lots of informative and very helpful people on Discord. We're a great community, no different to the Monday Clubhouse community. So thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it as always, and we'll see everybody again next week.